Morning students, as we have started concept of vectors, in the previous lecture I have introduced what are different types of vector. Today also we will discuss different types of vectors. Here one vector we are using, that is unit vector. Unit vector, as the term indicates, that it is a vector having unit magnitude and direction same as of given vector. Now, unit vector is represented by a letter and a cap sign over it, a caret sign over it. Now, to understand it, let me take one example that velocity is given by 5 meters per second along x-axis, any direction which has been given. So if I will write it as 5 into 1 meter per second along x-axis, 5 as it is the numerical value, and 1 meter per second, this is the velocity, unit velocity, and having the same direction as that of above direction. That means this magnitude of velocity, this can be represented by either this one, and 1 meter per second, that is a unit vector along x-axis, it will be represented by this. So unit vector is given by vector divided by its magnitude. Basically, when we are taking unit vector, that means it is having unit magnitude and direction same as that of given vector. So 1 meter per second along x-axis, this is a unit vector which is pointing along the direction of velocity vector of 5 meter per second along x-axis. So this is one formula to find unit vector of a given vector, as we can have different directions, and if we have x-axis, y-axis and z-axis, I cap, j cap and k cap, these are the unit vectors along x-axis, y-axis and z-axis. So it means if I have to represent velocity along, that is 5 meter per second along x-axis, I can write it as 5 I cap. If I am directly writing I cap, it means it is directing towards x-axis. Now, if we have to find unit vector, so let me take one example so that it will give you more clarity. That unit vector is given 4i minus 3j plus k. It means it is a given vector which has x component, y component as well as z component. That means it is a vector which is lying in space. That means x coordinate, y coordinate and z coordinate. All the three coordinates are present. So as per the formula, unit vector for it will be equal to vector divided by its magnitude. Now, there is a concept of magnitude. How to find magnitude? As for its magnitude, as there is a vector, for magnitude what you will do, you have to take coefficient of I square, that is 4 square, plus coefficient of j square plus coefficient of k square, that is I, j, k are the unit vector along respective axis. So it will be 16 plus 9 plus 1. Then it will come out to be, that is under root of 26. So now unit vector, it will be taken as vector A, that is 4i minus 3j plus k divided by its magnitude, that is under root of 26. So this is a unit vector which is having same direction as that of A vector. If you want to check that where is the unit magnitude for it, so if we have to find magnitude of this unit vector, so see, you have to take magnitude of this numerator as well as denominator. In the denominator, magnitude is under root of 26. So if you take magnitude of numerator also, this will also comes out to be same as that of denominator. So what you are concluding? That the magnitude of unit vector is 1. It means whenever we have to represent any vector in terms of unit vector, especially along x, y and z axis, then we are representing them by along I, along j, along k. This is a vector which we are taking here, a vector having component along x axis, that is 4, component along negative y axis, that is 3, component along z axis, that is 1. So this vector has been given. The significance here is I, j and k are indicating direction along the respective axis. Now after this, next we are taking orthogonal vectors. Orthogonal vectors, these are the vectors which are mutually perpendicular to each other. Which are mutually perpendicular to each other. Suppose we are taking a vector along I, that is along x axis, along y axis, along z axis. So I is a unit vector along x axis, j is a unit vector along y axis, and k is a unit vector along z axis. So being these axes are mutually perpendicular, it means these I cap, j cap, k cap, these unit vectors are also mutually perpendicular. So the vectors which are mutually perpendicular to each other, these are taken as orthogonal vectors. Now next we are taking position vector. A vector which is specifying position of an object with respect to a fixed point. That means a vector which gives position of an object with respect to origin. Origin means fixed point. That means if we take that this is the origin, and if let initially a particle is at point A, and after some time it has reached to point B, or after some time it has reached to point C. So if we have to measure their position with respect to origin, then how can we take? We will draw a line, straight line joining from this O to A. I will redraw it so that it will give you clarity, because this line O to A is not a straight line. O to A. Now this is giving you the position of vector A. This is giving you the position of particle at point A. That it is reaching to point B. So now a line from O to B. This is giving position of the particle at point B, and so on. So basically you can see that if you can take that any insect is at this point, A point, and when it has shifted to this point. So initial position is given by A and final position is B. So position vector, this will be, let P be the position vector, that is OA will be equal to B. Now after some time when it has reached to point B, then its position vector is Q, so let it be Q. So it means this is a position vector which has to be measured with respect to origin. That means position of a particle is measured with respect to origin in terms of vector. So now it tells what information you are getting from this position vector. It tells straight line distance of the object from starting point. It also tells the direction of object. Suppose the particle is initially at this point. Now here it is at point B. So particle position is changing in which direction? Particle is at this point. Now it is changing to this point. Suppose particle has reached to this point. So direction in which this position is changing, this is also represented by position vector. When we are representing position vector, one very important point you must understand. If we are taking, let A is a position of any particle, of any body. So if we have to measure its coordinates, now with respect to x-axis, let this coordinate is x. With respect to y-axis, let this coordinate is y. So this point is x, y. That means x and y coordinate of point A with respect to x, y, with respect to origin are x and y. And then we'll join point O to A. This is giving the position vector. So this is represented by position vector R. So now if I want to represent position vector in terms of the coordinates along x-axis and along y-axis, because it is in the plane, particle is in the plane, because x and y both coordinates are changing. So how to write x coordinate along x direction? So how to write its direction? By unit vector. You will write it as xi cap plus y coordinate along y axis. The direction of y is represented by y into j cap. These x and y, these are the general terms, general values we have taken. Now, if we want to measure its magnitude, suppose we want to calculate its magnitude, what you will do? You can apply the Pythagoras theorem. You can directly, suppose in triangle, you can directly take it as in triangle OAB. OA square will be equal to OB square plus AB square. Then OA square will be R square and OB square will be X square, and AB is Y, so it will be Y square. So what is the magnitude of R? You can see this is under root of X square plus Y square. So it means if we have to find magnitude of position, how are we finding it? We can write it as, this is one method we are exactly explaining you, or in the simple term, when any position vector is given to you and you have to calculate magnitude of this position vector, so you will take square root of coefficient of I square. That means here coefficient of I is x, so it is coefficient of I x square plus coefficient of j square, that is the coefficient of j is y, so it is plus y square. Rather you can learn by this method, this is direct method, or this is the basic method how we can calculate the position of a particle. In simple terms, position vector is a vector which gives position of any particle with respect to starting point, with respect to origin. And mathematically when we are representing it, this is the representation of position in terms of vector. Now position vector which we are discussing, as its starting point is fixed, so it is a fixed vector, and in the previous lecture I have introduced that fixed vector is a localized vector. So position vector is also an example of localized vector. Now next we are taking displacement vector. Displacement vector, it is a vector which tells how much and in which direction an object has changed its position. How much and in which direction object has changed its position. That means if we are saying the body is initially at point A and it has shifted to point B, this B point lie here or somewhere else. That means by the knowledge of this displacement vector, we can analyze that the body has shifted in which direction. So it tells how much, by what amount, what will be the separation between these two, and in which direction an object has changed its position. So let me take, as we have explained the concept of position vector, so let initial position is A, initial position vector is, let it be R1. So if we are taking, let this position having the coordinates, that is x1, y1. How this x1, y1? Suppose corresponding to this x-axis, this point, this distance is x1, x coordinate, and corresponding y coordinate is y1. So R1 can be expressed in this term. Now if we say that after some time the particle has shifted from A to B. Suppose there is a mosquito initially sitting at this point and after some time shifted to this point. So if you have to measure their position with respect to fixed point, that is origin, then you can measure with the help of it. That is position vector. So now this is the second position which I have already explained you. That is taken as the position vector of second position, that is B, having coordinates x2, y2. See here x1 and y1, x2 and y2 are the general coordinates I am taking. Right. Now this is a concept of position vector. Now displacement vector, it is a vector. Now it is a vector which will be drawn from A to B. That means this vector which we are drawing, that is not drawn from the fixed point origin, but it has to be drawn from the head of one vector to the head of the second vector. That means it tells in which direction the object has changed its position. The object has changed its position from A to B. It's not from B to A. It's from A to B. So here, if I have to write that AB, this will be equal to, obviously when we have to calculate the displacement, then what we will write? Final position minus initial position. So if final position vector is R2 and initial position vector is R1, so I can write it as OB R2 minus OA R1. So AB, that will be taken as the displacement vector. That is having value given as the difference of position vectors, that is final position vector and initial position vector. Now, as if we want to further express it in simple terms, coordinates x1, y1, so initial coordinate position vector first r1 will be given by x1i plus y1j. See how, as x1 is a x coordinate, if I will take this distance, this is x coordinate is x1 and this coordinate distance is y1. So x1 direction represented by I vector and plus y1 and direction represented by j vector. So I can write it as x1i plus y1j. Similarly, I can also write r2 vector as x2, yes, along x-axis, so I kept along y-axis y2 value and direction is j cap. So r1 and r2 are the position vector along x-axis, along x and y-axis, and this is also along x and y-axis at different time. Now displacement vector, it will be r2 minus r1. Now what you have to do, you have to substitute the values. So now when we are rearranging, this is x2 minus x1 as we are rearranging I coefficient plus j coefficient y2 minus y1 into j. So this is the general way in which we can calculate displacement vector. So simply, but if there is a note on displacement vector, this is just the explanation part. This is for your understanding. What you have to explain here, what is a displacement vector? It is a vector, it tells how much and in this direction an object has changed its position. See here, as displacement vector, its initial point is not fixed. Here point A is here, B is here. The point can lie somewhere else in the plane. So its initial point is not fixed. Its not fixed point is origin, some reference point. So here position vector is a fixed vector, localized vector, but displacement vector is a free vector, or you can say non-localized vector. So these are position and displacement vector that you will use in further numericals. Now one more vector is there, zero vector. You will say when it is zero, how it will be a vector. Actually, zero vector, that is a vector which has zero magnitude. Zero magnitude means no value and have an arbitrary direction. It means no fixed direction. It can have any direction. This is also termed as null vector. So basically a vector having zero magnitude and arbitrary direction. So how can we represent it symbolically? See, 0 because value is 0 and a vector sign is put over it. This is a symbolic representation. This concept that we will use in the form of note or some practical example, what is the significance, we are utilizing it. Now, as here, if a vector is multiplied with a 0, so how can we get 0 vector when any vector is there? So when it is multiplied by 0, the result will be a 0 vector. Now, we can also say if a vector is added to the negative of its own vector. Vector, suppose a vector, this is 5 centimeter and minus a that is again 5 centimeter, but direction is reversed. So if we are adding these two, the resultant of these two will be 0 vector. This will be a 0 vector. So when we are adding or we are adding negative of a vector to vector itself, we are getting 0 vector. Now what are the practical examples of 0 vector? What is the actual concept? How can we talk about this 0 vector? See, you can see, suppose a body is stationary. If any object is stationary. When object is stationary, its position is not changing. So what will be the velocity? Velocity, you will say it will be 0. So velocity vector of stationary object, stationary body is a 0 vector. This is a significance. This way you can represent, because object is at rest, its position is not changing, so its velocity will be 0. So it means now the velocity vector, if you are taking, it will be a 0 vector. Similarly, suppose a body is in uniform motion. Now you can understand it, when a body is in uniform motion, so velocity is constant. So what will be acceleration? If I am taking acceleration vector for a body in uniform motion or moving with uniform velocity, this will be again a 0 vector, because no acceleration. So when we are talking in terms of 0 vector, so that acceleration vector will be a 0 vector. Similarly, for the same case, if I am taking an object is stationary, so its position is not changing, so you can say in this first case also, this displacement vector will be 0 vector. Why? Because body is stable, stationary at a point, its position is not changing in any direction, so displacement vector will also be a 0. There can be one more example, as if we take the position vector of origin, with respect to which we do all the measurements. Suppose we have to take position vector of origin with respect to itself, that will be again be a 0 vector. How? As we know that if body is at point A, then its position vector is r. But if the body is itself at origin, that means its position is with respect to origin, it has no position, that means 0 position. And if we have to represent it as a vector, position vector, it will be a 0 vector. So this is the significance. These are the examples by which we can analyze the concept of 0 vector. Now, if we have to multiply a vector by any real number, suppose there is a vector, and if we are multiplying it with any number, so what will be the result? Result will be that its magnitude will be n times the magnitude of the given vector, and its direction will be same or opposite to that of A, depending upon whether n is positive or negative. Let me take an example. Suppose n is equal to 2. If n is 2, then the resultant vector will be 2 into A. It means the new vector, we are representing it by r, the new vector which we have obtained, having a magnitude twice of the initial vector and direction same as that of given vector, means if A is a vector, so r will be a vector having double its magnitude. This will be twice of A, and direction is same as that of A. Length is changing, its magnitude is changing, but direction will be same. But if n is negative, so r is equal to minus 2a. So in that particular case, magnitude of the vector is 2 times that of the given vector, but direction is reversed. How can we represent? Suppose vector A is given by this one. Reverse direction we will represent like this. Magnitude we have to be taken to be same. So if it is 2a, now you can see from it, these are in opposite direction. That means resultant r vector will be a vector whose magnitude is twice that of A, but direction is reversed. Negative sign indicate, and n can be positive or negative. So it means direction of the resultant vector depend upon the direction of A or that of its opposite. So it is depending upon the resultant vector which we are getting. If its value is negative, it means direction will be reversed. If value is positive, that means direction will be same. So this is basically the case when the vector is multiplied by any real number where there is a case of change of direction or no change of direction. But if a vector is multiplied by any scalar, multiplication of vector by any scalar. Scalar means scalar quantity we are taking. Suppose we are taking a vector A and we are multiplying it by S. S is a scalar quantity. So what will be the change? Here you will see that the magnitude will become, if we are representing it by R, then magnitude will become S times the magnitude of A and act along the direction of A. Here we cannot say that there will be change in direction. We cannot say this because this is a scalar. This is a quantity which has no direction. So when a scalar is multiplied with a vector, direction of resultant will be same. So what factor will be changed? Unit. Unit of resultant vector will not be same as that of given vector. How can we understand it? See, if vector A is, we are taking 100 Newton in east direction. Any direction you can take. I am taking an example. Now, if we are taking that any scalar quantities, that is 10 second. So, S into A. If we are multiplying the scalar with the vector quantity, so 10 second when multiplied with 100 Newton in east direction, the result will be 1000 Newton second in east. So you see here that direction of the resultant is same. Here it is same as that of the given vector. What is changing? Numerical value as well as unit. Here vector A having unit Newton and scalar quantity having unit second. So here the unit of the quantity will be changing. So when a vector is multiplied by scalar, then unit of the quantity will be changed depending upon the unit of scalar which is multiplied with the vector. So now next is resultant vector. Resultant vector, to understand this resultant vector, if we take, suppose we have two numbers, 2 and 3, and if we have to take their combined value, so it will be 5. As this is a numerical value. But when we are taking resultant vector, it means resultant of two or more vectors. Suppose we have two vectors, more vectors. So resultant of these three, if we have to take, vector can be like this, vector can be in opposite directions, vector can be in some inclined direction also. So if we have to take combined effect of all these vectors, that is a resultant vector. So resultant vector is that single vector which produces same effect, as is produced by individual vectors together. So that means instead of it, if out of these three, if we are taking the combined effect of this, there will be some resultant vector. Or here also, although there are certain rules how to take the resultant of these vectors when these are in the same direction, in the opposite direction, or at some angle. But for the term, I am just saying that it is that single vector which will produce the same effect that is produced by all these individual vectors taken together. Now, next term that I am taking, that is equilibrant vector. In simple terms, you can say it is a vector that is negative of resultant vector. In simple terms, this is a kind of vector whose magnitude is same as that of resultant vector, but direction is opposite. So it is equal and opposite to resultant of various vectors acting on the body. So this is equilibrate vector, and in the definition which we take, that is a vector which balances two or, suppose we have these two vectors and their resultant may be lying somewhere in between. I will discuss it in my next lectures how we will take the resultant. May be lying here, then R dash will be a vector that is balancing these two vectors. How? This will be explained in the coming lecture. So it is a single vector that is balancing two or more vectors acting on a body at the same time. Or in simple terms, you can take that it is negative of the resultant vector. So beta, these are all different types of vectors which we have to use. Now you have to learn all these terms, understand these terms, because now in the coming topics you have to use all these terms in one way or another way. So learn this definition, understand their meaning and revise them thoroughly. Thank you. Have a nice day.